Hello, I'm Rick Bigliardi. Welcome to my layout. The layout, its name is North Pole, Tinseltown South, and Bigville, and it's in this room over here. Yeah, this layout started out as my plan was a simple layout down the middle of the room, about 10 by 30, with a scenic divider and dual main line, just general layout, scenic. And then my wife looked at the plan and said, "Oh, this is boring," and she decided she wanted a helix, and she wanted overhead track, and she wanted over and under. She wanted her ceramic buildings, and just all sorts of stuff to make life difficult for me. It's taken me about 12 years to build this, and I think her main goal was to keep me out of her hair for those 12 years. And boy, did she succeed. My wife has recently passed away, and so as a dedication to her, I did a billboard for her, and my daughter passed away, so she's got a billboard. And also a good friend of ours, Bob Pearson, who worked a pilgrimage since the second one has passed away. So underneath is one of the few things that I didn't build, which is a Lego train station. A friend of mine was big into Legos. It kind of raised the bar on the whole layout because everybody come in and compliment me on that, not much on the layout. So over here I just had a little space for had a winter scene. My wife had all these ceramic buildings, and some of them were just yard sale stuff, but I couldn't figure out how to display them. And when I was in Norway, I was in this town that was built on the side of a hill. And I said, "Oh, that looked like it would work for me." And so that's based on a town in Norway. You'll notice a little spotlight here, a floodlight. Well, that's Catherine's secret. She had a store. A little floodlight. What we're doing is lighting up our Santa's reindeer barn up on top up here. And he's having a training session with some of his reindeer. The name of the layout is North Pole, Tinseltown, so that's part of the North Pole. Built the bridge, and I finally got it lit up this year after 10 years of trying to figure out how to do it. So when the lights are lower, you can see the change colors. This is the bottom of the helix loop. It goes all the way up. And we're on the helix, down the back wall there with another little village, across this other suspension bridge, and then a city in North Pole, a little bit ahead of you. And back down. This train right in front of you here is American Freedom Train. It's based on a 1976 version. It's Mike's Train House. I just got it a few weeks back. It's a TIU, DCS controlled, and I haven't got it working yet. Okay, we have a lot of passenger stuff on this layout. So I have the upper train stop and down to the main station. Underneath we also have a subway station down here, and that's more of a realistic than the Lego station. If you notice, there's all sorts of switches around the outside. All the blue ones I can double switch. I've got some yellow ones on a control panel so that I can have everything turned down when nobody's here and it's night and I can turn all the lights on. Or if I have guests, I can shut the control panel off, and each one of these operates them individually. There's also some red ones that operate all the time, like Christmas trees and that type of stuff. So if you push the Christmas tree button, you might be able to see the trees up there. It's not too bright. White trees up there, they're blinking. Now I like to try to do things on a cheap, so those blinking lights came out of a Christmas card. Okay, over here is the city of Bigville. This was a plastic tube that I got in college somewhere along the way, and I've managed to hang on to it all the years. And it wasn't really tall enough, so I heightened it with using a tape container was my first spot. Then I used some fruit containers and raised it up to a decent height. The gold building over there was built out of plexiglass sheets and painted and striped. And this little building here, the government building, is I believe it's Kenner's girder and panel set from when I was a kid that I was trying to figure out what to do with, so I decided to make that the City Hall. It's a happy layout, so everybody's having parades. The parades were made out of a Chick-fil-A doll and or stuffed toy, I guess, and a McDonald's Angry Bird toy. And then just different cars and stuff that I picked up along the way at yard sales and other places. The people are a combination of stuff I picked up at training shows and stuff that I've ordered online, you know, some of the cheap stuff. And so I try to, whenever I see something I don't have, I try to pick up just to add some variety to it. Again, we're at the patriotic level, and so I got the 1949 version of the Freedom Train, and then the U-36B 1776, I guess, the seaboard coastline. I try to incorporate different things in a layout. My stepdaughter bought me this lighthouse years ago, and I had to figure out what to do with it. So I ended up that's why I ended up with a water feature. The bridge, my son-in-law spray painted, the one on the right. Just different stuff like the radar towers from when I was a kid. The hot air balloon up above, my wife's mother made it for her, and she said, well, what am I going to do with it? And I said, well, it'll go okay here. Yeah, my stepdaughter bought me this lighthouse. I needed a water feature, so I kind of built this, and I've got some, again, Dollar Tree sailboats and a yard sail, brass sailboat. I try to incorporate what I just find around and also what the kids give me. So I've got like a train station and some actual Lionel lights. Let's see, up on the raised area, I've got another little town. It's got the smoking diner that my wife bought me. And just some plastic bill houses. Some of the bigger stuff over there that the kids playing in are with gifts from my son, so they had to go on layout, even though they're a little bit on large size. Let's see what else we got. Got the reissue of the Lionel rocket launcher train, and it's a TMCC control, so you can launch it any place, which is fun when you have people over. You kind of surprise them. When my wife first got sick, she was in a nursing home and a rehab facility, and I mentioned to her a friend said something about getting that balloon. So she snuck out, or she had her daughter sneak out and buy it for me, and then it was too tall to fit any place on the layout. So I had to put it up there and drop that, make a drop-down section so it fits someplace. So that's the story of the village up on top. Got quite a bit of storage, and I keep adding more and needing more. Some of that is post-war sets. Yeah, the HO stuff, I collected, I did a lot of traveling, so some's from Norway, Denmark, England, Australia. Yeah, I worked on the C-130J, so I got a little bit of a soft heart for C-130s. So I had to get a couple of those. Okay. Now let's run some trains and see what this is all about.
So here we've got the fire station, which is really cool because it's very detailed. You can see that as the garage door goes up, a fireman is going down the pole to go get in his fire truck. Joann's is my favorite place to get fabric so that I can sew all sorts of things. I think it's really fun because they have all sorts of crafty things. I think it's really cool that Mr. Rick included it in his set. of lighthouses. You can see here all the seagulls that are flying around the lighthouse. I think that this object is very neat because it shows what a lighthouse is like. So you can see here that we have the subway station. It's all made out of Legos, which I think is really cool. You can see we have 2 tracks and that there are a bunch of Lego people all waiting to get on the trains. So you can see all the trains around here. Some of them are carrying logs. Some of them are having cattle loaded onto some of the trains. There are also some horses and some barrels that are waited to be loaded onto trains as well.
This Rico station was one of the first things my wife bought me when we were still dating. Recently I added lights to it and decorated it and put some interiors to it. Kind of made a train station scene and tried to give it some life. Now this bridge over here, that my daughter and her significant other at the time made for me. I kind of had an idea what I wanted and had all the materials, and it came down for a weekend and we knocked it out. The letters are cut out of 2x4s, and I made it so that I can lift it out, and I actually had it out the other day because I was doing some work on the TMCC stuff.
So you can see here, this is the town. I think that this area is very neat because you can see all different people and their little stories going on. You can see some people inside the tower at the top, and some people working on bricks down below. I think it's cool that each character has its own little story that you can look at.
I set up all the controls so that the ZWs are to control the trains. It's 2 trains per transformer. I've got 14 loops. One of the loops here is controlled by the TMCC bricks, Lino bricks. They're set up, again, each transformer controls 2 trains in a certain area. Like this is for the main line, that one is for the winter and the helix. The bigger loop is always on the outside, so the helix would be the larger loop, so that's on the right hand handle. The ones underneath usually are for accessories. And this I had a common debug circuit that runs, so I can run TMCC switch in any place on any loop. So that's run all over the place, and each loop has a separate switch So if I put it on TMCC, the LED is red, and I can look over and say, oh yeah, I got to shut that off. Well, I hope you enjoy the layout, and I hope we see you next year in person. And thank you very much for coming. Bye.